Welcome back. All right, 7 games tonight in the NHL, so the busiest night since the return so far. Tomorrow it's 4 games, and then Saturday it's a lot. It's a lot. Now I'm really enjoying the fact that these are all early games too. I think that's great. And there was only one that went to extra time tonight, and there wasn't a ton of goals. I think things were pretty good tonight. And although it depends on which fan base you're in, we'll start things off with a recap that I don't think Colorado fans are going to be watching against Tampa Bay here. So, Georgiev versus Vasilevsky in this one. Perbix has a shot that's blocked as Tampa Bay presses. Cogliano gets banged up. It was a knee on knee with Cole. I didn't see any intention on that one. It's just one of those collisions that can happen during a game. The shots are 2-1 for Tampa Bay at 5.5 minutes. Hagel then has a net drive that's held. The Bolts press, but they can't get to the net. Avs press with 9.5 minutes left. Things get pushy after a save by Georgiev. Tampa Bay then gets a power play, and they score on it. It's Corey Perry from Cirelli and Killorn at 15:15, so it's 1-0. During the next play, the fans call one, the referee doesn't. McKinnon has a blast that saved, the rebounds cleared. We then had a fight between O'Connor and Colton. 10.7 seconds left. The Avs get a power play. So coming out of the first, it's a good period for Tampa, but Colorado with a chance to get even early in the second period. However, the Bolts do finish the kill. Nieto's then denied on a fast break. The Avs press at 4 minutes. There was a post for Nathan McKinnon. The Avs draw themselves a power play. Rantanen has a chance that's saved. The shots are 7-2 Colorado at 8 minutes. But at 8:32, Hagel scores from Cirelli and Killorn. So Cirelli and Killorn with 2 assists already at this point in the game. Then the Bolts get a power play and they score on it. It takes 14 seconds. Braden Point scores from Kucherov and Hagel at 10:29. So suddenly it's 3-0 for Tampa, and it's pretty obvious that the Avalanche are not winning this one. Bolts go back to the power play. That one's killed off. The shots are 15-8 for Colorado with 5 minutes left, but 2 of those 8 shots have gone in for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Bolts press, but foot stick breaks. Point then had a rush chance that was held, and then on a turnover, Tampa scores again. It's Hagel from Killorn at 18:07. So after 2 periods, it is 4-0. Third period, early press by Tampa. The Avs then press at 5 minutes. Belmar has a net feed, near miss there, and then Sergachev, he scores from Point and Belmar at 5:44. So it's that's the score, and that's the score to end as well. Nieto was denied from the slot late. Things get brawly with 8.5 seconds left. Colorado clearly frustrated with the results of this road trip coming out of the break. Early on in this road trip, anyways, they just get the 1 goal against Pittsburgh. They get no goals here. Your 3 stars are Vasilevsky, Hagel, and Cirelli as Tampa Bay wins 5-0. So there's the Tony the Tiger. Great magnet for Vasilevsky, who gets his 29th career shutout. And there's a no mercy magnet for the fact it was more than a 4-goal difference. And the 3 stars being Vasilevsky, Hagel, Cirelli. Not much argument there. Although Killorn had a pretty good game too, but again, there's only so many Tampa Bay players you can get into those 3 stars. The shots 15-9 Tampa in the first, 15-10 Colorado in the second, 7-6 Tampa in the third. Final shots 32-30 for the Bolts. Power plays Colorado 0 for 2. Tampa Bay 2 for 3. The hits 34-30 for Colorado. Georgiev saves 27 out of 32. Vasilevsky saves all 30 shots for his 29th career shutout. So, pretty good night for Tampa Bay, and one to forget if you're the Avs. All right, Edmonton in against Philadelphia. So the Philadelphia Flyers with a letter from John Tortorella to the fans explaining, things are going the way they're going, and don't worry about it, and everything will be fine, and all this fun stuff. Well, it was Skinner versus Hart in this one. Tippett's denied first shift. The Oilers press, but they're kept to the outside. Shots are 4-1 for the Flyers at 5.5 minutes, and they would open the scoring. It's Kevin Hayes from Sanheim and Lawton at 7:50. Van Riemsdyk then had a turnover chance. That was held. The Flyers get a power play. York has a blast that's saved. Cates was denied as well. That power play's killed off. Ryan had a rush chance. That was saved. The Oilers having some turnover issues in that first period, but it's only 1-0 after 1. And early in the second, they tie it. It's Evander Kane from McDavid and Janmark at 1:56, and then Kane nearly adds another. So there was no indication of just how low scoring this was going to be by the end of it. Power play for Philadelphia. The Oilers don't let him set up. That was killed off. Allison has a net feed that's blocked. The shots are 6-5 for the Oilers at 9.5 minutes. Near miss for Janmark. Flyers clear it out. McDavid was then denied on a face-off win. Sanheim, I should say, is then denied on a turnover opportunity. So both goaltenders playing well through 2 periods. It's 1-1. Third period, good early back and forth. Power play for the Flyers. That was killed off. We get some booing from the Philadelphia faithful as it comes to an end. Brown has a shot that's held shortly thereafter. JVR is then denied. The Flyers with some momentum. The Oilers score, and Tortorella didn't look like he wanted to challenge for goalie interference, but he did. And it works. Turns out it's goalie interference. It took them a while to make the decision on this one, but they take the goal off the board. Farabee then had a shot that was blocked. The Oilers rush. The shots are 8-3 for Philadelphia with 8 minutes left, so the Flyers suppressing those opportunities for Edmonton pretty well to that point. Nugent Hopkins nearly gives the Oilers the lead. Nurse then has a shot that's held as the Oilers press. And then JVR has a net feed. That's picked off. We're going to overtime. In overtime, the Flyers control early. Draisaitl's denied. Both teams getting good opportunities during this overtime. McDavid's denied on a rush, and McDavid's robbed again in closing seconds. So we go to a shootout. In this shootout, it is James Van Riemsdyk who gets the winner. So Philadelphia wins this one in a shootout 2-1. They go to 22-22-9 with the win. For the Oilers, 29-18-5 with the shootout loss. And considering what happened elsewhere tonight, this is the 2nd point lost for them. So the 3 stars in this one, Van Riemsdyk, Hart, and Hayes. The shots, 10-7 Philly in the first, 12-11 Philly in the second, 12-11 Edmonton in the third, 5-3 Edmonton in the overtime. Final shots, 36-35 Philadelphia. Power plays, Edmonton didn't have any. Philadelphia was 0 for 3. The hits, 23-13 Philadelphia. Skinner saved 35 out of 36. Yeah, he probably deserved to be one of the 3 stars. And Hart saves 34 out of 35 for the Philadelphia net. All right, we'll see how Edmonton bounces back in their next one. All right, next up on the board here is San Jose in against Florida. San Jose almost worked their magic again. They did, of course, end that home winning streak for Tampa Bay, and they were looking to ruin the night for Florida. And it looked early on like they might be able to get it done. So it's Kakkonen versus Bobrovsky. The Sharks get a power play. The Panthers were off to a very flat start. That power play, though, was killed off. Svechnikov fires one wide from the slot. Verhaeghe then fires one high on a break. And then it's Barabanov opening the scoring for San Jose from Carlson at 5:49. And then there was a near miss on a net feed to Hurdle shortly thereafter. So San Jose with momentum and almost going ahead by 2 there. Sharks press for another. The Panthers, though, they press with 7.5 minutes left. They didn't get shots out of that, but they start generating some momentum. Better second half for the Panthers. They press to close it. We get some pushing after the horn, but after the first period, it's 1-0 San Jose. Second period, Hurdle's denied on a net drive. Panthers had a 3-on-2. That fizzles out. Pressed by the Panthers, they're kept to the outside. We then had a fight between Gadjevich and Smith. The Sharks press at 4 minutes, but eventually, Reinhart gets a goal. It's a nice pass by Stahl at 4.5 minutes, and so all of a sudden it's a tie game. Then there's a power play for the Panthers. That was killed off. The shots are 6 apiece with 8 minutes left. Montour has a rush chance. That's held. Montour's point streak came to an end tonight at 10 games. Panthers had some late momentum, and eventually they get it. Tic-tac-toe, tipped in front. Reinhart gets it from Luostarinen and Lundell at 19-19. So after the second period, it is 2-1 for Florida. Third period, Tkachuk fires one high on a rush. The shots are 2-1 Sharks at 3.5 minutes. Barabanov had a rush chance. That was defended. Both teams doing a good job blocking at this point in the game. 4:52 left. The Sharks get a power play, and it's 4 minutes. So this is your big power play. They would pull the goaltender with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to make it 6-on-4. That allows Eric Stahl to hit the empty net from Luostarinen at 18:21, and then he would hit again 34 seconds later at 18:55. Those are both empty net, shorthanded goals, both scored by Eric Stahl, and they make the final score 4-1 in favor of Florida. So they go to 26-22-5 with the win. For San Jose, 16-26-11 with the loss. The shots in this one, 15-11 San Jose in the first, 18-10 Florida in the second, 13-9 Florida in the third. Final shots, 42-34 for the Panthers. Power play, San Jose 0 for 3, Florida 0 for 1. The hits, 28-17 Florida. Kakkonen saves 38 out of 40. Bobrovsky saves 33 out of 34. One thing I noticed in the games tonight, goaltenders. Goaltenders are in the 3 stars of almost every game. And it just shows that maybe we're to that point in the year where things start to really tighten up from a defensive point of view. All right. Fourth game, last game on this board is Seattle in against New Jersey. So it's Grubauer versus Blackwood in this one. Schwartz is denied on a 2-on-1. The early jump is for Seattle. They were leading in shots 3-1, only 3 minutes in. So Seattle coming out and putting on a lot of pressure. They're very good on the road. Kraken press at 6 minutes. There's a near miss for Larson. The Devils rush after that. Kraken controlling the play so far. Bratt then has a net feed. That's picked off. Eberle is a blast that's held. It's all Seattle at this point. The Devils press with a minute and a half left, but the Kraken block them up pretty well. So after the first period, it's scoreless, but Seattle had to be happy with their game. Second period, shots are 3-0 Seattle at 2.5 minutes, so they pick up where they left off. There's a power play for the Kraken. That leads to a crossbar for Bjorkstrand. It becomes a minute and 2 seconds of 5-on-3. Beniers is denied. Tolvanen's denied. That power play is killed off, and 5 shots are allowed. So Mackenzie Blackwood becoming quite the story in this one already. Shots are evening up at the half as the New Jersey Devils start to generate opportunities. Kraken press. Borgen has a shot that's saved. Tatar was denied on a dangerous rebound. And then it's Adam Larson who opens the scoring, the former New Jersey Devil himself. From Dunn and Wenberg at 14:04, the Devils then get a power play, and they score on it. It is Hamilton from Palat and Tatar at 14:29. Then there's a press by Seattle with a minute and a half left as they're looking to get the lead back. 13 seconds left. The Devils get a power play. So that rolls over into the third period. Bratt to Palat near miss. That's cleared out. That power play is killed off by the Seattle Kraken. Wood has a shot that's held. The shots on net are only 2 apiece at 7 minutes, so not a lot of opportunities there. Devils, they do get a power play, and they score on it. It's Dougie Hamilton from Palat and Bratt at 10 minutes, and he wires that one top shelf. So nicely played by Hamilton, and that's 2 straight power play goals for him. McCann's denied on the next shift. Goalie gets pulled with a minute and 40 seconds left. That allows John Marino to hit the empty net from Howell and Heischer at 18:49 and make your final score 3-1 for New Jersey. They go to 34-13-4 with the win. With the loss, Seattle 29-17-5. Couple of hits to that road record. They lost in New York. Now they lose here, and they're getting beaten pretty handedly. So the 3 stars in this one: Blackwood, Hamilton, and Palat. Shots 12-8 for Seattle in the first, 13 apiece in the second. 9-6 Seattle in the third. Final shots 34-27 for the Kraken. Power plays: Seattle 0 for 3, New Jersey 2 for 4. The hits 22-15 for New Jersey. Grubauer saves 24 out of 26. Blackwood saves 33 out of 34. Might have been his best performance so far this season. That being said, Seattle has to try to bounce back next game. But this is the kind of game you wanted to see from New Jersey at home. They're now playing well at home and on the road. Bad news for the rest of the East. And now I need to change boards. All right, second board, and we got Calgary in against Detroit. There was a lot of action in this that just there wasn't a whole lot to write notes with. Where I was watching it, and there just wasn't a whole lot to write notes with on this one. It was Vladar versus Husso. Vladar came into this one with a point streak of 13 games. That is snapped tonight. I thought he played well, just not enough goal support from the Flames. So the Wings press at 3 minutes. There's a power play for the Flames. That's killed off. The shots are 4 apiece, 9 minutes into this. Dubé has a rush chance. That's defended. Coleman with a net feed. That's blocked out. Zadorov flattened Wallman, who stayed down for a while. It was a clean hit. It's one of those things. Zadorov's like, 8'6", 500 pounds. He's a big dude. And he hits really hard. So the Wings are stuck on 4 shots for about 8 minutes before they finally get that 5th, which would be the final shot they had in the period. Coleman's then denied. The rebounds cleared. The score is 0-0 after 1, but Calgary controlled large portions of that, and it really is Husso keeping it scoreless. Second period, early press by the Wings. Berggren gets knocked down on a net drive. The fans wanted a call there. They don't get it. Power play for the Wings. It's a 4-minute power play. Perron is robbed. Good cycle. Perron was robbed a couple times during that. Seider has a blast that's saved. There's more cycle. Everything's killed off there. Shots are 6-4 for the Wings with 8.5 minutes left. Detroit goes back to the power play. Strong shorthanded play during that by Mangiapane. Everything's killed off there. And then Coleman tips one in front at 18:07 from Noah Hannafin. So a lot of really, really big saves by Husso. And then this one goes in to put Calgary up. And you got to wonder, so is Detroit going to fold? No. 1:05 left. The Wings get another power play. They score on this one. It is Larkin from Perron and Sider at 19:46. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period early chances for the Flames. However, they're not hitting the net. The shots are 2-0 for Detroit at 4 minutes. And then at 5:51, Zadina gets his first of the season from Sundqvist and Haig. And then the Flames get all the rest of the shots. So the Flames press to respond. They get a power play. That was killed off. The Wings are blocking off the middle as best they can. Hanifin has a blast that's tipped wide. There's a near miss for Peltier and a rush. With 3:51 left, the Flames get a power play. Hanifin blasts one wide. That power play is killed off. There's a goalie pull with 1 minute and 15 seconds left. 50.6 seconds left. The Wings, they have a power play. That should end it. Kind of does. The Flames press, but they do run out of time in this one. They pulled the goalie to make it 5-on-5, but they did run out of time. I thought I was going to have to stop the Rabbits from chasing each other, but they appear to stop themselves. At any rate, your 3 stars in this one are Zadina, Husso, and Larkin. So nice to see Zadina is one of the 3 stars, getting his first goal of the season and all. Shots 12-5 Calgary in the first, 9-8 Calgary in the second, 15-4 Calgary in the third. They outshot them 36-17. Final shots are 36-17 as stated. Power plays 0 for 3 for Calgary, 1 for 5 for Detroit. The hits 20-12 for Detroit because they never had the puck. Vladar saves 15 out of 17, and Husso, who's had some rough starts lately, 35 saves on 36 shots. He's one of the 3 stars. Every game had a goaltender that was one of the 3 stars tonight, except one. This one. So Vancouver and the Islanders, crazy town tonight, wasn't it? You had Horvat versus his former team, but Beauvillier was against his former team as well. So Delia versus Sorokin, and as stated, Bo Horvat against his former teammates. Early jump for the Canucks. The shots are 2-0 in their favor, 2.5 minutes in. Power play for Vancouver. Beauvillier couldn't bury one. He had a chance there. They cycle it. That's killed off. The shots at this point 6-1 in favor of Vancouver. OEL gets shaken up. He exited. It wasn't for very long. He would return. Cizikas with a near miss on a rush, and then posted in on a rush. Palmieri scores from Bailey and Pellick at 11:05. That was only the second shot of the game for the Islanders. Then on the next shot that the Canucks get, they score as well. It's Ekman Larsson through a screen at 11:44. The Canucks look for the lead, and on their next shot, they score again. It's Besser from Miller and Stillman at 12:30. For some reason, I wanted to say Strawman. It's Stillman. So Besser with that one, I think that's his 10th. So Besser with a couple of points tonight, and that's good news for Besser. So that makes it 2-1, but the lead doesn't last, as on the third shot of the game for the Islanders, Nelson scores at 14:34. So that's 4 straight shots in the game that go in the net. So the fans a little quiet at this point, a little confused on what's going on, because it doesn't feel like either goaltender's making a save. But from there, the next Islanders shot's held. After 1 period, the score's 2-2. Second period early power play for the Islanders. There's a shorthanded Pettersson chance that's saved. The Islanders score, but it's goalie interference, so that comes off. And then 1 second after the power play ends, Barzell scores from Dobson at 2:26. Let me just take a double check on that. Yeah, that's still not counted as a power play goal. I wanted to look in here and see if they did count that as a power play goal after, because sometimes they change the timing on those. Canucks then get a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 5-2 Vancouver at 6 minutes, but one of those 2 shots have gone in. The Islanders press at 7 minutes. Then there's a press by the Canucks at the half. There's a kick save on Burrows. The Islanders clear it out, and then on a one-timer, Bo Horvat scores against his former team, his 33rd of the season. Barzell and Pulock with the assists at 15-13. So it looks like the Islanders are ready to run away and hide, right? They're up 4-2. But Nils Oman scores from DiGiuseppe and Joshua at 16:04. It was not a very Sorokin-like game tonight for Sorokin, who came into this one with a long shutout streak. So we're going to the third period with the Canucks down 1. Shots are 2-0 Islanders at 3.5 minutes, but the Canucks would get a power play, and they score on it. It is Pettersson from Hughes and Miller at 4:38. So JT Miller on the board. I think he's been playing better. I think he's played better since the Horvat trade. And then at 8:28, Pettersson puts Vancouver into an inexplicable lead in this one from Besser and Bear. And I say inexplicable because the Islanders should be playing desperate hockey. They know how much they need every point, and you can't afford to lose a game against the Vancouver Canucks. So the Islanders would press to answer after that. There's a power play for the Islanders. That's killed off. Canucks draw a power play. There was a post for Miller, and then Beauvillier gets the power play marker to put the Canucks up 6-4. Besser and Hughes with the assists at 16:58. So for Brock, that is 3 points for Brock Besser tonight. So with 2:05 left, it becomes a 6-on-4 because they pulled the goaltender right away after it became 6-2-4. And during that power play, they do score at 19:11. It's Dobson from Barzal and Horvat. Now, that goal initially looked like it was Lee's goal. If it does become Lee's goal, that means Horvat will lose that secondary assist. But the Canucks hold on. Regardless of who got that goal, the Canucks hold on. They win this one 6-5. They go to 21, 27, and 4 with the win. The Islanders, it's a frustrating loss, 27, 23, and 5. And as I mentioned in the preview this morning, every team they're chasing's played fewer games than they have. So your 3 stars in this one, Pettersson, Barzal, and Besser. Pettersson, Besser, Barzal, 1, 2, 3. Shots in this one, 8-7 Vancouver in the first, 16-11 Vancouver in the second, 12-10 Islanders in the third. Final shots, 34-30 Vancouver. Power plays, Vancouver 2 for 4, the Islanders 1 for 3. Hits, 26-23 Islanders. Delia saves 25 out of 30. Sorokin saves 28 out of 34. And again, of all the games not to have a goaltender that's one of the 3 stars, the only one is the one that had Sorokin in it. If I'd said that in the preview, nobody would have believed me. They were one of those bets that just like, come on, there's going to be a 3-star. Every goalie, come on. Not Sorokin? All right, next up, last up is Vegas and the Minnesota Wild. I didn't have to take very many notes in the third because this game was over in the second. So it's Thompson versus Fleury in this one. The early jump was for Minnesota. Trust me, it was. Dumba fires one wide as the Wild press, but then on their second shot, Vegas gets a goal. It's raw from Kolasar and Howden at 7:07, and he shot that one 5-hole. Vegas then looks for another. The shots are 6-1 in their favor at the half. Raw fires one wide. Wild cleared out. Amadio then has a shot that's held as Vegas still getting opportunities here. Eriksson Ek then had a rush chance. That was saved. The Wild with some momentum, but Thompson making some big saves. And then things get pushy on a hold by Thompson, but after the first period, it's 1-0 Vegas. Nothing major, and then the second period happens. And Minnesota's got to get their second periods figured out. The same beast that was cursing every Dallas second period appears to have now moved on to Minnesota. So another strong game for Carrier. I had to write that up there. Will Carrier having a fantastic season. Marchessault's denied, and then Pietrangelo scores at 2:41. Now that looked like Cotter's goal. Last I looked, the app still says Pietrangelo, so I'm like, fine, I'll put it as Pietrangelo. He made one of the 3 stars as well. The Wild look to respond. Things get pushy on a hold by Thompson. The Wild draw a power play, and they score on it to tie the game. It's Kaprizov from Eriksson Ek and Boldy at 4:37. He buries a loose puck. It only takes 13 seconds. It looks like this could be a Wild one. Didn't mean to use that terminology, but hey, it's there. I'll leave it as is. The Wild press to tie it. Shots are 10-5 in favor of Minnesota at the half. Things get punchy behind the Wild net. 2 players for each team go to the box. I like that. I like when a referee goes, all right, 4 guys are going to the box because it does cause that to settle down. And then Cotter does get a goal from Eichel and Marchessault at 10:47. It was a really nice pass, and it's buried by Cotter. Then there's a penalty shot for Riley Smith, and he scores on it. So all of a sudden, it's 4-1 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. And then at 13:13, Eichel scores from Marchessault and Whitecloud. So in less than 3 minutes of game time, that's 3 goals for Vegas. This game's basically done. So for Eichel, that's a goal to go with an assist, and makes it 5-1. The Wild then get a power play. That was killed off, but it's 5-1 after 2, and Marc-Andre Fleury's night is done. So Gustafson's in, early press by the Wild. Thompson gets shaken up. Nobody hit him. It wasn't like it was any kind of collision. There was an awkward turn, and from the way he was down on the ice, I'm going to go ahead and say he pulled a groin muscle. And those are really tricky because at times it can be one of those things where he's right back in the next game, or he could be out for months. It is one of the joys that we had in Vancouver with Luongo that he'd go down and he'd be like, is that the groin again? Because that could be, is that a day? Is that a month? Is that a week? Like, you just don't know. And so Thompson's out and Hill goes in. Shots are 3-2 for the Wild at 5 minutes. Power play for Vegas, that's killed off. Kolasar is a rush chance that's held. There's a press by Vegas at the half. 4 minutes left. They're leading in shots 8-5. And at the horn, there were some boo birds out in this one. The Wild are in trouble. They're in free fall, and I know they've been against really high-quality opponents, but they're just not generating any points. Your final score is 5-1 for Vegas. They go to 31-18-4. combined with the loss by Seattle tonight, there's a little bit of breathing room atop the division now for Vegas. Minnesota 27-20-4. This really leaves the door open for Nashville. The winners tonight might have been the Preds, because Calgary loses in regulation, Colorado loses in regulation, so does Minnesota. So your 3 stars are Eichel, Pietrangelo, and Thompson. So Logan Thompson gets into the 3 stars despite the injury. The shots 9-7 Vegas in the first, 15-14 Minnesota in the second, 8-6 Vegas in the third. Final shots 31-28 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Power plays Vegas 0 for 1, Minnesota 1 for 2. Hits 37-12 for Minnesota because Vegas doesn't hit. Thompson saved 23 out of 24. Aiden Hill, good in relief, 4 saves on 4 shots. Fleury saved 18 out of 23, and then Gustafsson saved all 8 shots in relief. So after a couple of good starts, Fleury has a rough one, and so we'll see what happens from here. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.